An 18-year-old girl was shot and killed this afternoon in New Orleans. The shooting happened around 3:30 in the 3800 block of Holly Grove Street, according to police. Investigators say anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 504-822-1111.
By the time she finally stopped overthinking her future, picked her college, and told everyone she was ready for her next chapter, she had almost no time left to live. That's the part that stays with you. Only days after celebrating her high school graduation, 18-year-old Ra'Mya Rene Silvan was gone. Police say the person responsible was someone she once trusted and cared about. This is the story of a young woman who should have been spending her summer getting ready for college, not becoming another name in a homicide investigation. For most teenagers, graduating high school feels like crossing the finish line after years of hard work. It's the beginning of new opportunities, new friends, and a chance to build the life you've imagined. Ra'Mya had reached that moment. She had earned her diploma from Warren Easton High School, and the people who loved her were proud of everything she had accomplished. Looking through her social media, you don't see someone weighed down by fear. You see an 18-year-old enjoying life the way many teenagers do. She loved creating TikTok videos, experimenting with makeup, taking photos with friends, and sharing the little moments that made her happy. Like so many young people, she was excited about what came next. One decision had occupied her mind for months: college. She wanted to make the right choice, not the easiest one. She thought about the cost, the timing, and where she believed she could build the future she wanted. Eventually, she found her answer. She announced that she would be attending Loyola University New Orleans, explaining that she had stopped comparing her journey to everyone else's and finally made the decision that felt right for her. For her family, that announcement represented much more than picking a school. It was proof that Ra'Mya had a plan. She wasn't simply dreaming about tomorrow, she was preparing for it. But while one part of her life was moving forward, another was becoming more uncertain. At one point, Ra'Mya had been in a relationship with 20-year-old Daniel Victor Romero. Friends had seen them together during happier moments. They attended prom, smiled for pictures, and looked like any other young couple trying to enjoy their senior year. From the outside, nothing suggested those memories would later become evidence of a relationship that had come to an end. According to investigators, the relationship didn't last. The breakup left unfinished business between them, including an iPad that still needed to be returned. It sounded like something that could be handled with a quick meeting. A few minutes, an exchange of property, and two people moving on with their separate lives. Instead, that meeting would become the last time Ra'Mya was ever seen alive. The afternoon they agreed to meet, neither her family nor her friends had any reason to believe they were only moments away from receiving the phone call that would change their lives forever. Breakups can be messy. Feelings don't disappear overnight, and sometimes people struggle to accept that a relationship has reached its end. Most people eventually move forward. Unfortunately, not everyone does. Investigators say Ra'Mya and Daniel Victor Romero still had one unresolved issue after the breakup: an iPad needed to be returned. On paper, it sounded simple. Meet, exchange the device, and leave. There was no reason to expect that such an ordinary errand would become the final chapter of an 18-year-old's life. On the afternoon of May 24, 2026, the two met in New Orleans' Holly Grove neighborhood. Exactly how their conversation unfolded has never been made public, and investigators have not claimed to know every word that was exchanged. What is known is that the meeting quickly turned into an argument. Within moments, neighbors heard gunfire. The sound shattered what had been an otherwise ordinary afternoon. People rushed outside trying to understand what had happened. Instead of finding a disagreement they could interrupt, they found a young woman lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds. Several neighbors immediately tried to help while others called 911. Family members would later describe the desperation of those moments, hoping that somehow she could still be saved. Emergency responders arrived as quickly as they could, but Ra'Mya's injuries were too severe. She was pronounced dead at the scene. She had graduated only days earlier. The young woman who had spent months deciding where to attend college would never step onto a college campus as a student. News spread through the community almost immediately. Friends who had recently congratulated her on earning her diploma suddenly found themselves posting photos in her memory instead. Graduation pictures became memorial pictures. Messages celebrating her future turned into messages of heartbreak.
News: a woman shot and killed Memorial Day weekend in New Orleans. Here's what we know. Police are on the scene right now. This is a live look from Holly Grove and Palmetto Streets. We are told an 18-year-old woman shot and killed. She was found dead on scene. Police got on scene about 90 minutes ago. We are working to get additional details on why this happened and who is responsible. You can see the live look right there. If you know anything, call police. Stay with us on this developing and breaking story.
As detectives secured the scene, they began collecting evidence. According to information later discussed in court, investigators recovered numerous shell casings from the area. Witness statements, physical evidence, and surveillance information helped detectives begin reconstructing what had happened. Attention quickly turned toward Daniel Victor Romero. By the following day, Romero surrendered to authorities and was arrested. Prosecutors would later argue that the evidence pointed to a deadly confrontation following the breakup, while investigators continued working to piece together the final moments that led to the shooting. For Ra'Mya's family, though, the investigation could answer only one question: who was responsible? It could never answer the question that mattered most. Why did someone she once trusted leave her future unfinished? As the case moved through the criminal justice system, more details were presented during Romero's first court appearance. Prosecutors outlined the evidence they believed connected him to the shooting and argued that the circumstances surrounding the killing showed a serious danger to the community. The court ordered that he remain in custody without bond while the case continued. The legal process will ultimately determine every remaining question surrounding guilt and responsibility. Like every defendant charged with a crime, Romero is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court.
From graduation to a tragedy in just days. 18-year-old Ra'Mya Rene Silvan was killed Sunday in Hollygrove, allegedly by her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Daniel Victor Romero. Romero was arrested Monday and is now facing second-degree murder. Tuesday, he appeared in court, handcuffed in an orange jumpsuit with his head hung for most of the hearing. His face remained emotionless, even when the judge ordered he be held without bond. According to information read by Judge Juana Lombard in court, 20 bullet casings were found at the crime scene near Hollygrove and Peach Street. According to the judge, Silvan's family told police the two were in a tumultuous relationship and had just broken up. Romero allegedly went over to give Silvan an iPad. Information from the judge indicates the two got in a fight, then gunshots. The iPad was allegedly found at the scene, and Romero's car was allegedly known to be 2 blocks away 5 minutes before a gun was fired. Prosecutors argued the number of bullets was extreme, and there was a danger to the public. They say Romero tried to hide evidence, including the gun. Although the public defender's office argued Romero's not a flight risk and turned himself in, prosecutors say he only turned himself in because his family requested he do so. Judge Lombard said he's a potential risk to witnesses. While Romero sits in jail, a community is grieving. In a statement, Warren Easton confirmed Silvan is a recent graduate, writing in part, quote, "Ra'Mya was a bright, talented young woman with a promising future ahead of her, and her loss is deeply felt throughout our school community." Alyssa Curtis, WWL, Louisiana.
If convicted, Romero will face a mandatory life sentence without parole.
Outside the courtroom, however, the focus remained on someone who would never have the opportunity to tell her own story. Warren Easton High School mourned the loss of one of its newest graduates, remembering Ra'Mya as a bright young woman whose future had only begun to unfold. Friends described someone who enjoyed making people smile, expressing herself through makeup and social media, and looking forward to the next stage of life. Those memories now carry a different weight because they capture moments that no one realized would become the last. One post in particular continues to stand out. After finally deciding where to attend college, Ra'Mya shared that she had stopped comparing her journey to everyone else's and chose the path that felt right for her. It was a message about faith, confidence, and embracing her own future. Reading those words today is heartbreaking because they remind us just how close she was to beginning that future. Cases like this leave families carrying a kind of grief that cannot be measured. There are birthdays that will never be celebrated together, college milestones that will never happen, and family photographs that will always have someone missing. Domestic violence involving young couples often begins with conflict that people around them may dismiss as ordinary relationship problems. But when anger, control, or an inability to accept the end of a relationship enters the picture, the consequences can become permanent. Recognizing those warning signs early and taking them seriously can save lives. Ra'Mya Rene Silvan was only 18 years old. She had earned her diploma, chosen her college, and believed the next chapter of her life was finally beginning. Instead, the people who loved her were left remembering the dreams she never had the chance to pursue. Thank you for watching Fable of Crime. If stories like Ra'Mya's remind you why these conversations matter, consider subscribing for more factual true crime documentaries that honor victims, examine the evidence, and encourage awareness. If this story moved you, leave your thoughts respectfully in the comments, and as always, thank you for helping keep the memories of victims alive.